repulsion, I think, is a really important idea to have. You take in things and you got to release things. The law of attraction and the law of repulsion or like a polarity. What happens is we get a lot of stuff thrown at us in our childhood and in our life, and we get knocked around a lot. So then these things stick to us and they influence us. So they're like parasites. So when we suppress what we don't like, that's what manifests, and the whole thing turns into a big mess. And I had these incredible list of spiritually transformative experiences. They call them STEs. The first one I had was meeting an enlightened man in the 1970s, and because of him, I could hear what people were thinking for about 2 or 3 weeks. It used to be 6 hours a day of meditation. And then I had a direct experience of meditation of love, and this I asked for all the love in the universe. And after years of meditation, one day I had gotten this set up in this holy festival, and I got hit with a water cannon from the guru, and that just put me into 3 days of bliss of just where I couldn't do anything but cry and laugh. And doing that much meditation, I saw God multiple times, and God is really just a life force, okay? Your life force is light, L-I-G-H-T. Life is light. Last meditation I did, formal meditation of Kriya, this is after 13 years, I got this invitation to become a God, and that kind of blew my mind, but this invitation to become God and have of my own universe, like what the hell's going on with me? I'm the holy man, I'm a saint, this stuff's not supposed to happen to me. And I got hooked up with this guy named Alec Rubin, and Alec Rubin was a teacher, was an acting coach for the Actors Studio in New York. And he was also a primal scream teacher. And so I was lucky enough to spend 3 years with him, and was in my house. And one of those primal scream sessions, we changed the course of Hurricane Andrew, and that Hurricane Andrew came right over my house. Then I got into this whole God thing. It was like, why could you I would scream at God, why would you make people suffer and war and heartbreak and pain? Then I got my second initiation from the mother of everything, which nobody really knows about or even talks about the mother of everything. I started to see the wound of my parents and my grandparents and then all the people who had this similar kind of condition. I eventually reached out to all the pain and suffering of all the people that have ever been born, all the animals, creatures, bugs, everything. The Bhagavad Gita talks about that. It says anybody who experiences all that pain, that's the beginning of consciousness. I've been taken off on craft a couple of times. I met Sasquatch, and I got an initiation from Sasquatch into heart light meditation. Most people who become enlightened is because they're so deeply wounded. So
Put together a little lecture and I'll make the class watch. Pacific Northwest, where we're blessed with Sasquatch. Like in the Himalayas, the abominable snowman, known to have strength more phenomenal than Conan. Discovered evidence of this endangered species. Footprints, hair samples, even stranger feces. Put a bad taste in your mouth like a glass of scotch. Some say it smells worse than an ass or crotch. In British Columbia, they're more than legendary, even though the skeptics claim he's imaginary. Eyewitness accounts that attract attention, while others can't decide if it's a fact or fiction. Is there an ounce of truth? I don't pretend to know. I'm searching for the proof, whether friend or foe. Got his own erotic novel, getting naked with ladies. What's the missing 411? Ask David Pallades.
There's things that are not known. There's things that can't be known. There's things that won't be known. It's okay, you're not alone. There's things that are not known. There's things that won't be known. There's things that can't be known. It's okay, you're not alone.
La da 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 da, la da 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 da.
Welcome.
La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Lord of Art, along with his sidekicks, Esquire Sir JT. And tonight, we are privileged to have the one and only, the Prophet, Michael Harrell. And Michael Harrell prophesied 7 years ago that I would be an ambassador of Sasquatch. And God damn it, here I am talking to him again 7 years later. Beware of what a prophet may prophesy about you. You might regret it.
Do you actually remember the conversation that you had with Michael about this?
I don't even think it was a conversation. I think it was messages, wasn't it? Wasn't it in Messenger?
No, this is how bad our memories go as the older we get. You did a show with me. You interviewed me freaking 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Your YouTube channel. It was pretty memorable. he's like, what?
Man.
What the hell are you talking about, boy?
You must have said something cool. I said, oh, that guy's going to interesting. I'm going to see if I can talk to him.
I guess I did something. Maybe it was something about some kind of conspiracy. Maybe that like the Vatican wants to rule the world or something like that. I don't know. Can't deny that. Can you?
I'm glad it kind of goes full circle. Because, I'm kind of glad you guys are taking a risk talking to me.
No kidding.
Well, because
it always does. It always goes full circle, man. It always comes back around.
I know, it sucks. Life is, I tell you, this place is a soul trap matrix. I'm telling you, it is. I don't want to reincarnate here one more time. Damn it. Oh, by the way, this is.
I signed up for the ride, man. I'm going to go.
I didn't. I was hijacked, man. They kidnapped me.
Yeah.
They kidnapped me, man. They lied and deceived me.
No, man. I was around when this earth was cooling down, and there was millions of us. We were just got around this earth.
You realize that's a line to a song? I was around when the earth was cooling down. I ain't no clown. I ain't messing them.
But the thing was, is we knew what the history of the earth was going to be, and what a jewel in the universe that the earth was. And just everybody just fell in love with the earth and wanted to go on that ride, and
so they all came.
Yeah, well, they all came, and they're still coming because it's the best show in town. I mean, there's a lot of wild stuff that's happened here. This is my second son. You ever heard of the second son?
You're depressing me by saying that.
Saying what?
This is the best show in town, man. No, don't say that. No.
Well, you could go up to the Godhead and and
yeah, I am going to go up to Godhead when I
can. You can play the lute, and then sing praises to God for about a billion years, and then you'd be pulling your hair out, wanting to come back to Earth and have chocolate cake.
That's even worse. That's what you just said. So we go to the Godhead, and it's going to be like torture for eternity. We're like, please.
You're singing praises to the God.
I know.
I think he's seeing it differently than the rest of us.
And then hey, they got some openings to go down to the earth.
I could be given that.
I raise my hand. I want to go.
I'm going to be given that God had a piece of my mind for the next 50 eternities is what I'm going to do. No, anyways, we started out correctly. Hey, listen.
That was a fun opening.
We're really going to talk about, folks, tonight. Consciousness and spiritual transformation experiences. STE, and I am not talking about what? STDs. Healing and evolving, and I have no idea what that means. Sasquatch and ET connection. Whoa. And he promised, or he didn't promise, but he said adds the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
It's very important when you want to cover everything. Hello?
If you don't have everything and the kitchen sink, then you ain't got everything.
That's true. You're going to be freaking starving, that's for sure.
STDs. Yeah. Well, that's what we're all going through. This whole awakening is really about STEs, what? Spiritually transformative experiences.
And you know something, Mike?
What?
Me and JT are really orange. You know who? I swear to God, man, if Donald Trump finds out about this.
You're orange?
We're like the orange man. That's what should be called. There you go. Now we're all orange.
I think we found the Godhead.
There we go. There's the Godhead. The Father, the Son, and The son of a gun. I was going to say something else. I
Well,
should
see,
say.
this is my nifty lighting. This is my lighting. See,
Hey, it's like a
It's
heat
perfect.
lamp.
it's just not just a regular lamp with a little 30-watt bulb in it or 60-watt bulb in it.
Is that what you do when you do the shows? You do a little. It's like a little tanning booth or something. What's going on?
No, just-
No, you just like it's got the right the UV.
I got a big piece of black cloth covering my wall back there.
What are you hiding?
What are you hiding? What the
That's
frick?
just my studio. It's top of it.
It's perfect, man.
There's some old crumpled clothes.
Well, we
Behind the scenes of pork and beans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Have you been a Southerner your whole life?
I'm not really a Southerner.
That's what I thought. Tell us who.
I was,
Prophet
I was born
Harrell.
in the body of Christ. You know what that is?
Man,
That's a
Say that
Texas-
again.
let's don't go there. We're talking
I was
about.
born
We're
in the
talking
body
about
of Christ. You know what that is? That's a Texas joke.
Bible Belt type of thing. Huh? Is that what you're
I
saying?
was born in Corpus Christi, which means the body of Christ.
Oh,
Corpus Christi, Texas. I'm a Texas.
damn! We
How
found
good? How
the
the hell
first
y'all?
nugget of truth, man. You know what I mean?
I think I got my actual accent in Denver, Colorado, which is when I was like 6 or 7, something like that.
So I mean, we'll start out with
Who is Michael Harrell?
who
Let's
the heck
find out.
are you? Besides saying you're
Say barrel and Harrell the same way.
Harold.
Art the Herald,
Yeah, exactly.
angels sing.
Yeah, that's right. But that's
Hark from
now
the
it's not Harrell, or it's Harrell like barrel,
Gotcha.
or like Will Ferrell, spelled the same way.
Oh, okay. My apologies. I get everyone's last
No
name.
big deal.
It's just a name, isn't it? Or did you? Did we
I'm just trying
do
to
it?
get you off topic so I don't have to confess.
The Sasquatch Confessions is here for you, my friend.
Right, that's right. We'll be lenient on you, brother, if you just work with us here. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We can work out a deal and shorten the time, bro. We can.
Take away your chitlins, take away your greens, 'cause mama's little baby loves pork and beans. Pork and beans in the can, pork and beans in the pan, pork and beans. Man, we love pork and beans.
Franklin Oliver Baines. Thank you, Mr. Baines.
Who
So-
am I? I'm an anomaly.
No shit. Hanging out with us to start.
Well, listen, here, that's what I'm saying. This is going to be kind of boring for all your Sasquatch fans because I don't go anywhere and do any research, and I'm not a researcher at all. Don't go into the woods. Don't take videos. I mean, I did it like maybe once or twice. Went in the woods. Each time I went in the woods, I saw signs of Sasquatch. Was gifted something.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever had any experiences like with Sasquatch? Like,
Wait a minute.
seeing
We're
them
just
or-
going to bypass who Mr.
Sorry.
I mean,
I
come
just
on.
got Sasquatch on the brain all the time. Sorry.
Today I
I
had
know, it's like
today I had an experience. My Sasquatch friends, my brothers, they like to give me little things, little gifts and little trinkets and stuff.
You sure they weren't trying to warn you not to come on the show?
I did give me this feather.
They did. Well, that's what kind of feather?
Here's another feather. It's a bird feather.
No shit. I don't know why I'm laughing. I think I know why I'm laughing, but I just.
I think I know why too. He was playing his guitar before the show.
Anyway,
That's nice, not lying.
I was given a gift to share with you guys today. I was given a gift from me, and here's what it was. It says,
Free small
Pretty
items.
small item. And what it is a little happy Valentine's Day.
Oh,
This is exactly what the Sasquatch gave me today.
Man, what do you guys? I mean, you guys try to
It's
teach
a little small item. You know,
What?
happy Valentine's Day. That's what they do.
Thank you, Sasquatch.
And that's for you guys
We love
and
you.
for me. And so that I can give that little something to everybody out here who's listening.
I'm
Happy
telling you,
Valentine's Day, a day late, but it's still, you know.
I'm telling you guys, I'm
Maybe
not.
the Sasquatch haven't got a calendar. I don't know.
we know time doesn't exist for the Sasquatch.
But it's like, you know, yeah, that's what
They work in their own
what a
ways.
nice opening to have a gift. And it was like a gift of like, you know, just this thing was just on the road. And anything that's like blue or kind of blue green or something, I look at it. And this, right? This is the exact size of a little piece of paper. The last week in my front yard, right out here, in my front yard, I got a little piece of paper, the exact same size as this, and on one side of it, it was like obviously something like a candy or a little you know, donut or something was in there. It was because it was just big enough or something like that. And I turned it over and it said, "Good things come in small packages." And I'm thinking, wow, that's kind of cool. That feels kind of Sasquatchy to me.
You never met my ex. That's all I got to say.
And then the next day, I went out to that same place because I just kind of threw that piece of paper. I looked for that piece of paper again, and right under my foot was a dead mole.
What?
A dead mole. They gifted me a dead mole, and this mole had gray hair like that. He died of old age because I got moles in my yard.
So why is it there's dead trees, dead moles? What's going on with Sasquatch anyway?
This is the second dead mole that I was given. I was given another dead mole in. I went to a Sasquatch convention in Clayton, Georgia, which is right up there next to Tennessee. And and I was walking up a trail, and then I walk up the trail, and the last 4 steps, I was going to take a picture of this tree hang thing. You know, like a limb was hanging in a tree. I take the picture. I turn around, take 2 steps back down the path. The path was only this wide, and it was straight down. So I turned around. There was this mole there. The mole was still soft and everything. So there's no way. I mean, how can I go up 3 steps, take a picture, and turn around? There's a mole there. So that's the second mole they gave me.
Was it like an A-port? Didn't you watch it? I haven't.
It was like an A-port. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I also heard you say that you had. What's the echo going on? A-port of a rat as well. What?
Yeah, live rat. That was
What is that with okay, dead moles, rats,
dead squirrels, live rats.
jeez.
What does that mean? I mean,
I've been friends with them since 2012, so you know it's not like this happens every 15 minutes. It's like 3 months and 6 months, and you know it's like spread out. But yeah.
by the way, I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing at you.
I'm
not laughing at you. I'm laughing at why Sasquatch wants to drop off dead carcasses of freaking rodents. Why do they do such things?
Just
They
to blow
work
your
in
mind.
mysterious ways.
Well, I mean,
You know?
Mike gets like Patterson. He gets like marbles, and you know what? I want freaking money.
I got all kind of stuff. I showed you that. Here's a rock they gave me. You know, Brian Bland had a bunch of rocks when you had him on, right?
Yeah.
He gifted me that rock. I got all kind of stuff out there, little plastic toys, and I can't even remember all the stuff I got, to tell you the truth.
How did we get so sidetracked? So who is Mike? Mr. Mike?
Mike
Mike
Harrell.
Harrell.
Art the Herald. Okay.
Well, I'm an ex-yogi, ex-carpenter, ex-cabinet maker. I actually have God realization, which not a lot of people even knows what that is. That means that when you meditate long enough, there's a light that comes on your head, and usually is accompanied with a euphoric feeling. So that means you've seen God, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it means. And that's that's an experience that is available to
Is
anybody.
it actually like an experience or like an actual sight? Like, can you see it, or is
You
it
can
just like an
no, your
experience?
whole entire inside of your head fills up like, it's,
Blinding white light.
yeah, blinding white light. Yeah.
Okay.
And the feeling of holy shit, that's God. You know that's
Mhm.
God. I mean, there's no question about it. There's no like maybe on the fence.
Ayahuasca, you on
I
an
wonder, was
ayahuasca or
that something
something?
that I ate last night? No, you know what that is when you see it. And
I've been on DMT. I've been there. No.
you can get there. You can get there in other ways, I guess.
Normally, you can get there without
You
any
can
kind
get there
of.
being playing football, and have somebody cross check you, and knock your brains out. That's another.
Making love to a beautiful woman, man. That's close to thing for me, man.
That feels like God sometimes.
Well, they sure acted that way. And I sure treated them that way.
Anytime you have to amp up your body, your life force, when your life force gets amped up enough, or in terms of meditation, what happens is it's a frequency that just comes. It's called grace. It's nothing you can't just have a switch and turn it on and off. So, but that's kind of like a middle of the road, also kind of like maybe a bottom of the line, God realization. But after you have God realization, right, which took me like 10 or 12, 14 years, something like that. If you wanted to keep going, you keep meditating for maybe even another 10 or 15 years. And then you can get enlightenment. Enlightenment is when you actually have a switch where you can switch it on and switch it off, right? And it's called samadhi, right? You see these guys that go into this state. And which brings me to something interesting that I met this guy. I went to a convention center to see this guy named Sri Chinmoy. And Sri Chinmoy he was a guru, right? And he was an advanced yogi. He was a swami. I'm a yogi. He was a swami. And he just sat there and it was packed out. There was like about, this is like the kind of a theater where they do, graduations and stuff. So it's pretty big. And he just sat there on the stage and went into samadhi. And I didn't know anything about it. I had met this guy who was an enlightened guy, and then I was thinking, I want to find out anybody else who's enlightened and see what that's like. Anyway, this guy, Sri Chinmoy, he goes into samadhi. You could see him go into samadhi. He just kind of like, it's sort of like, it's like just, you have this incredible orgasm that just never stops. That's kind of what it's like. But he started looking around in this dark theater, and so I was to his left, so, and he started on his right, and he started looking at everybody, right? And I just watched him move his head around, and did it really slowly. And he looked at every single person in that theater. And then when he looked at me, and I went with my buddy, right, it was my drinking buddy, and I was sitting next to him, and this guy looked at me, right? Sri Chinmoy looked at me, and his eyes were light, L-I-G-H-T, coming out of his eyes. And I thought, holy shit, that's what it is, man. So this is before I'm giving you all this stuff happened before the 13 years of meditation and crap. But anyway, when you hear Sasquatch have an eye shine and it lights up their face, or they can see the light coming out of their eyes, that's what it is. That's who Sasquatch is. You want to know about Sasquatch? They are high as hell. They are high beings. They're spiritually advanced yogis, swamis, gurus. And so
Ultra terrestrial.
Ultra.
The highest.
I call them archangel class heart spirits or earth spirits, because that's what they can do, Anyway, I don't know if that's a recommendation of who I am or not. I failed at everything, right? I failed at God realization. I failed at
Imagine that.
every initiation. But it doesn't seem to matter, because it's not really about. It's about spiritually transformative experiences, and Lord knows I've had my share. I've had a lot of experiences of God. Just I have lots.
It's like I know the Sasquatch have a huge part to do with spiritual transformation because they've done it with myself. But when did you realize that Sasquatch had anything to do with this whole thing that we were going through?
Well, my first experience with Sasquatch, I knew this guy. What is his name? His name is Tom Hughes. Tom Hughes was a radio guy, and he was half Indian and all Texan, and lived in Houston. And he was telling this story about how he did his first mind speak with this female Sasquatch. And I was listening to that. And then there's a long story about it had to do with the turtle, right?
Okay.
Which I've been given 4 live turtles over from 2012 to now, 4 live turtles because of this guy in Texas. What do we have? Is this an intermission or something?
No,
I'm playing along while you speak, man. I feel like I'm in like, just keep going, man. Oh, I'm listening, man. Does that bother you?
How are you?
I feel like I'm not being disrespectful. I feel like I'm at a campfire, man. I feel like just listen to the dude, man. Just play, man. Just talk, man.
Okay, let me see. Well, you gotta put me off what I was saying.
Who are you, man? Cut the music, bro. Come on, man. Jeez.
Have some fun while we're doing
It's your show. You can do whatever you want.
I'm just playing along with you. I'm listening to you, believe it or not.
I was listening to you. I was listening to you play. It's good. Sounded good.
It does sound good, but
That's what I'm
it's
thinking.
derailing the purpose here.
No, it would have been a good combination. You speaking your experience and your wisdom, and me just playing in the background.
What do you think? I'm some kind of like a talk show host or something? I don't have that kind of fortitude.
No, man.
I get distracted by squirrels. Oh, look, there's a squirrel.
I do the same thing. Wait, come on, man. So back to where we're at.
Where were we at?
Something about
Yeah,
Sasquatch.
Wardy.
About you and
Like how you realized what they had when you realized they had something
about
to do with.
when, right? And I was talking about Thomas Hughes.
Yes.
So he told a story about his first psychic, mind speak with this lady, Sasquatch friend of his. And then at the end of the story, he was walking into his house and he was talking to his plants. Now, for some reason, don't know why, but for some reason, this idea of this big, 6'6" Texas guy talking to his plants in front of his house. And I thought, what kind of a mindset did this guy have? Where's this guy's mind at that he's talking to a plant in front of his house? So I get on the internet, the next day after I was watching a thing on YouTube and he was talking about it, right? So I find him on the internet, Thomas Hughes, and it was a really interesting guy. Like he did a talk show with American Indians, and they would talk about the Sasquatch stuff and American Indian stuff. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I called him up and I was saying, I saw you I heard you on this program, and I heard you on this program, and then you said you were talk to your plant. And I said, what kind of? Because he's from Texas, I'm from Texas. I'm thinking, what does he know from Texas that I don't know? And I said, well, you're talking to your house plant. I said, what kind of a headspace was that? He said to me, well, I'm half Indian. That's what we do. And I'm going down the phone, and it was like, okay, now what else could I say? What else could I possibly say? Yeah.
You said half Indian, man.
So I said, what's the deal with this Sasquatch thing? So how'd you become friends? How do you become friends with the Sasquatch? And he said to me, you just go out your front door and say, in a normal voice, say, hey, Sasquatch, I want to be friend. And he said, do that every day for a week. Go out your front door, just say it to the air, hey, Sasquatch, I want to be friends. And so I thought, well, that doesn't sound too hard. Why don't I do that? Why don't I try that? So that's exactly what I did. I went out my front door, which is in middle of Miami, South Miami, Florida. And I'd go out there and say, hey, Sasquatch is good. And I did that for exactly 2 weeks. So, you know, not every day, because I'd forget sometimes, because it's like a minor thing, right? It's not a big deal. So at the end of 2 weeks, you know, nothing happened. I was just about ready to give up on it. And then I lay down and go to sleep that one night. And it was like December 20 something in 2012. And the Sasquatch, and I'm sitting there going to sleep, and out of my sleep, these two Mexican guys, and they're dressed like Texas Mexicans, which is they have the cowboy hat on, cowboy shirt, cowboy boots, but they're only about 5'5" or 5'6". You know, they're smaller people. And I figured out these guys were shaman. And they took me out of my sleep, took me out west somewhere, like Sedona or someplace like that. Someplace that's got the big red rocks. And these guys had one on each arm, and I'm flying out of my body. I don't know where I was, and I land there, and I'm sitting there. There's like a giant, 10-foot tall rock, and then another big rock next to it. They said, sit on that rock and talk to that rock. And I'm thinking, no, this is not a normal dream. So I sat on the rock, and the rock said, I'm a rock god. I'm a god rock. And I said, okay. And then the god rock proceeded to tell me the whole entire history of evolution on Earth, from the very first microorganism that was ever made was made by water and rock. And he told me the whole story about how life is connected to water and rock, and he's a god because water and rock make life. Then he talked about how the first thing that life does is makes more water and rock. And this went on for 3 hours, him telling me about every species, every organism, and all how it works. And he finally got to human beings, and he said, inside the human beings, water and rock make life. And then the first thing that life does is make more water and rock. He said, in the human beings, your bones are the rocks. And he said, you know where the blood comes from? Your blood comes from inside your bones. So water and rock make life. And that whole thing was pretty sobering, because this was firsthand an actual elemental god that was telling me about life on planet Earth. And all life is made with water and rock, and trees and everything. So I'm mind blown. The next day I woke up and I told myself, and I still didn't put together this was Sasquatch, right? And I told my son, I said, hey, I just had this shamanic dream. I never had a shamanic dream my whole life. I've done all these other kind of stuff, but I never had a shamanic dream. And this thing went on for 3 hours, and it was water and rock make life, blah, blah, blah. I said, Dad, you got to download. And I said, okay. And I still hadn't put it together. It wasn't until late in the afternoon of the day after that I remembered that it had something to do with Sasquatch. And what this whole thing was, they're trying to tell me that you can talk to a rock, you can listen to the trees, you can talk to the water. Everything is a spirit, and everything is conscious. There is no, if a rock can talk to you, That's the most unconscious thing in our book that there is. And if a rock can talk to you, then everything can talk to you. The air can talk to you. The stars can talk to you. Everything can talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
We have
it didn't
question.
end there. It didn't end there. The next day, I walk around just like I am now, and this rock talked to me again. And he said, water and rock wanted human beings to have light. So we make electricity. So water and rock make electricity. And he showed me how this, lodestone, which is magnetic, and copper rock and iron rock. You put that together and make it spin, and you get electricity. So, and then because they wanted to give us light. Okay, I thought that's cool. So it's 3 hours plus that next day, another message. And then the next day was another message from this God rock. And really, this is really important because this is exactly what the Sasquatch wanted to teach. And this is to go to extreme measure to do it. The next day he said, we also wanted to give you a telephone and TV and radio, right? And so that's 2 days, right? 3 days. And then the next day they said, we'll give you internet. You wanted everybody to be together. The time now, we want you to be internet. So see, to them, to the God rock, anything that has to do with rock, like your car is made out of rock and rubber, right? It's made out of
Or
metal.
do you mute your mic, bro? If you're eating chips or something, man, I can hear it like crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm listening. Sorry about that.
Sorry, man, but I couldn't, So the rock.
And then the last day, which is like 4 days out, he said, we wanted to give you quantum physics. And he showed me this whole thing about how this energy, the electricity that's coming into your house was coming from a water, a water power station. And then it came to where these scientists were trying to figure out where the light was a particle or a wave. And they used this little instrument, which would shoot these little photons through this little detector. And it was the water and rock. Right, so this whole thing, our whole understanding, this is what I'm trying to explain here is a translation, which is like transmutation, or like teleportation. It's a translation where you go from one way of thinking to another way of thinking. This is what Sasquatch are doing. They're taking us from one way of thinking to another way of thinking. Our old way of thinking is just the way that it is, and we invented airplanes and steamships and cars and internal combustion engine. We think about we did all this, but none of that stuff was done by us. It was all given to us by Spirit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we
100%.
worked it out. The inspiration was given to us by Spirit, and then enough people wanted to have a car, so they started making cars and planes and things like that. And the same thing with electronics and computers and stuff like that. We think it is us doing it, but that is a whole team of spirits going on up there, of which Mother Earth, the rock, the water, the air, and the sun, all are major players. This is a translation from the way we usually think to the way it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, now, how many spirits are around like that?
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
All around us all the time.
Think of astrology.
They influence us, our thoughts every day.
How does astrology work? Yeah.
I can't answer you that one because I'm not really into astrology too much. But
this is I'm just doing it from a translation.
okay,
right?
okay.
You and me, like, what's your astrological sign?
Cancer? Is that what it would be? Yeah.
You're Cancer, and I'm an Aries. And what's Michael's sign? What's your sign? Oh, he's out. He's gone.
A jackalope? No. A Capricorn.
Capricorn. Okay. So I act like an Aries, and JT acts like a Cancer, and Michael H acts like a
Jackass.
Capricorn, right? But what that is there's the spirit of these astrological signs that are affecting us, and we actually live our life under the umbrella of that spirit's influence. The same thing with planet Mars is Aries, right? It's Mars, and they have all these planets that affect us, right? This is a translation about the spirits that are around us all the time. And then you have the spirit of your house, right? You ever heard of a haunted house? That's the spirit of a house. But there's also houses that make you feel beautiful, make you feel at home. There's a feeling of at home. And then there's things like words that have, and feelings that have a spirit to them. There's the spirit of depression, or the spirit of joy, or the spirit of gratitude, right? It's all about the spirits. The reason why I'm saying about this translation is because if we think too much like a 3D reality, but there's more, right? So, and there's good people have a good spirit, and other people have a bad spirit. So there's good and bad spirits, but all these things influence us. A culture has a spirit. A church has a spirit. And if you have 5 churches in your town, each church will have a different spirit. And the police have a spirit to them, right? Universally, wherever you go, if you see a police officer behind you, you get creeped out, because there's a spirit of that predator kind of a thing going on there. So all of this goes back to what the Sasquatch did, having me talk to a rock, God, which Christ actually said, if you quiet the voices of my people, and the rocks will sing. And in the Bible, 67 times it says God is a rock. God is the foundation. God is the rock upon which I built my mansion. So anyway, that's a translation. And a lot of what the Sasquatch do is they're translating. They show us stuff, and you have to figure out. You have to translate into that. You know, where do they go when they disappear? That needs translating, because we don't have that in our
spirit realm, man. Spirit realm, spirit world, the other dimensions. That's where they go. You know, they work with this spiritual transformer. That's their gig, man. They're here to help us spiritually transform. That is their thing. You know.
Yeah. They're here showing us something. We're learning something from the Sasquatch people.
They're helping us get there, right? They're I mean, for me, myself, I mean, my Sasquatch journey, they've been with me before, and my whole life. But realistically, my journey has just begun. And like, they've shown me so much already. And it's crazy, man. And it's wild to think about the future and what they're going to continually show me and teach me, It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
They like, where are they now?
They're here with us, man. They're with us. They've been with me always. They're here. They can, they've shown their presence here. I mean, we'll talk about this more on the show tomorrow night, but they are here right now. They can be right beside me. They can be here and show me their presence, or they can be here and not show me their presence.
And that's my relationship. They can be here now and not show me their relationship. I do not put the condition on them. Why is this abusive relationship with God thing on there?
I don't know. Michael?
I think Michael's trying to sabotage the show.
Michael, what are you doing, man?
It's on his Facebook page.
I don't want to see that.
I want to see that. The Sasquatch guide. Okay.
I have a healing community called Language Lessons of the Heart, and to drive that community, I post a lot of memes to drive
Mhm.
traffic to my group, Language Lessons of the Heart, which is kind of probably this month or next month, I'm going to hit 7,000 people who are
Nice.
who practice the healing modality that I teach. Yeah. And it's that healing modality is it takes a lot of effort because I'm helping people, resolve their traumas and stuff, and get a kickstart from all the negative programming, which is the lousy little demonic spirits that people pick up, parasitic, vampiric spirits that they pick up in their life, and how to strengthen your soul and overcome that, and then get your power back and get back to factory specs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, congratulations and shout out to all the people in the Language Lessons of the Heart group. Just in case there's a bunch of them that are friends with the Sasquatch people.
Well, there's a good chance there's some around here, man. That's for sure.
So, consciousness. Let's talk about consciousness for a second.
Let's do it.
You know what consciousness is?
The thing that's inside me that makes me me.
Yep. What about Mike? Is he gone somewhere?
I don't know what he's up to.
He's busy.
He was playing his guitar before the show, so
I'll give you.
pretty much just me and you.
No, I've just been eating something. I'm sorry. I haven't eaten all day. So
Oh, you're eating. Yeah.
it's almost 11 o'clock.
As long as something's not eating you, that you're okay.
Yes.
Well, what happened? How did I get onto?
Michael put you up there.
Oh, there you go. No, I thought I went to Facebook and I was lost in Facebook for a while. Couldn't figure out where the tab was to get back to StreamYard.
So when did you start getting into this conscious awakening, and like when did you start getting into it as a young man or an older man? Whenever you got into it.
Well, like I said, I met this first guy. The first guy that I met was I was about 24. Met him in Coconut Grove, Florida, and this guy was 6'6" and real thin, and he was a fully enlightened dude, man. This guy was the real deal. And I just met him. I didn't know anything about anything. I was just, my thing was I'd try a little LSD or something. We'd drink a few beers, smoke a little pot. That was about it. So I meet this guy, and he's talking to me about what it means to be enlightened and how he got enlightened and all that kind of stuff. And so I spent an afternoon with him. We drove around, got something to eat, and I drop him off over at some friend's house. I was there with him, I guess maybe 5 or 6 hours all afternoon. And then I go home, and I had a 1964 Ford Galaxy 500 convertible. That was a cool car. But the next day, my transmission was shot on my car. I said, I just had a new transmission put in. So I drove the car, limped it over, and could only drive in second gear, I think, or second gear. And this guy checked the transmission, and the next day, he called up and said, your car's ready. And he said I had to put a new transmission in it. And I said, why is that? He said, for some reason, every seal on the transmission of your transmission blew out. This guy blew out the transmission of my car, right? I'm 25 years old. Just from him sitting next to me. And then the next day after I picked up my car, I was going to Dade Junior College. It was, I was taking some classes out there. And I started hearing people talk. I could hear these guys reading in the library from 2 miles away. Sasquatch can read your mind, folks, and they know exactly what you're thinking from miles away.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is a guy that got me started on doing the meditation and finding a guru and all that kind of stuff. Because sitting next to him, I felt like I was in this little Volkswagen Bug, and I'm looking out the window, and I realized that I'm under the shadow of a giant 747 that could fly all the way around the world, and I'm in my little Volkswagen Bug. The energy match just was too far off. Then the second thing that happened from listening to people being able to, and that lasted from 2 to 6 weeks, it faded. This was the energy. His energy lifted up my energy. The Sasquatch can lift up your energy. You get involved with them, you get connected to them, and they will lift up your energy. And when you lift up your energy, you get your psychic powers back. Especially, and also if you do your healing work, you get your powers back. But then I met a friend of mine, right, at lunch in the junior college. There's a place where you could go have lunch, like a cafeteria kind of place. And I said, "Hey man, I met this enlightened guy." And I'm walking up to him, and as I walk up to this guy, I get like about an arm length away from him, and I started seeing his whole life. It was, from his birth to his childhood to his high school, junior high, and then where he was then to who he's going to marry and his kids, and all the way to his death. I saw his whole thing.
The guy that was next to you.
So just because I spent 6 hours with this guy who was fully enlightened, blew out the transmission in my car, blew out my mind by me being able to hear people from 2 miles away, and then I could see people's whole life is like a life review.
Yeah.
So when you hear Sasquatch looking into somebody's windows, that's what they're doing. When you hear Sasquatch walking around somebody's tent at night, that's what they're doing. They can read your whole life. They know beginning to end, your attitudes, your successes and failures, when you're going to be ready, when you're not going to be ready, everything. Yeah.
They know the mission they've set for me and accepted it, right? And like they know what's going to happen in the future. They already know.
They knew before you ever thought about being on YouTube. They knew that you were going to be on YouTube and talking about it, right? The reason
100%.
why I'm on YouTube talking about them is because I know they like that. They like when we talk about them. Who doesn't? And they've given me so much that I want to just talk about them, talk about how much I love them, how much cool people they are.
Yes.
They're just,
totally, brother.
They're just the best, man.
They are, man. The love that the Sasquatch give you is amazing, man. Like that feeling I get from them. Like I've talked about this many times. It could break me down to tears, man. Joyful, happy tears. And I'm just like, just soaking it up, man. And I love it. I love that stuff, man. The Sasquatch, they work in mysterious ways, but they do it the right way, man.
But anyway, after I did all those years and years of meditation, and I had a lot of experiences. I was like a holy man. There was a time in my life where I had some people over my house, and we were doing some kind of exercises and stuff and talking, and I had little. They were all like in my living room, and there was a little place I could walk back and forth. And this guy said, Mike, every time you walk by me, my whole head fills up with light. It's because I was holding down so much energy. That's what I'm saying. In my world, nobody can see the Sasquatch yet because they can't look high enough. And the reason why they can't look high enough because they can't translate it. You know what I mean? The highest person they know is Christ. You know what I mean? Or Buddha or Muhammad or something. And you're not allowed to translate any other being into that level of consciousness. You know what I mean? But
Sasquatch, I mean, we're programmed
all
to
the time.
think that way, right? We're programmed to think that way about it, right? When we're taught all this stuff throughout our life, the Sasquatch is the simplest way to, connection with the creation The creator.
You got Christ, right? He disappeared and appeared in front of people 6 times, right? At the end, there's 6 different stories about him appearing and disappearing in front of people. They would see him and they wouldn't recognize him. Then he would appear fully, and then he would disappear. Well, Sasquatch does that too. You have to be able to translate that's okay. To make it a translation from. It's not exclusively over here, and it's not exclusively over there, and it's also not beyond what you could do.
It isn't. It definitely isn't. You know, we all have the abilities. We just have to tap into that stuff more, you know, or exercise it, right? It's like a muscle that hasn't been exercised in a long, long time for most people, you know.
Yeah.
So,
but that's what I'm saying about translation. We need to have more conversations on a really high level about what Sasquatch is and what Sasquatch does, and what humans do. To be able to translate who they are and who we are. Consciousness. Okay, consciousness is the feeling of energy, and all energy has a feeling. That's what I was trying to say. You know. Emotions are spirits, and the clouds are spirits, and the weather is spirits, and the you know, everything's a spirit, because you can feel, if you can feel the energy, you can say it like, this is a good day, has a good spirit to it, or a bad spirit to it. Yeah, that's consciousness.
I get you.
That's consciousness.
I understand.
What was that? What'd they say?
It said, "Yep, we do need to have 2 conversations, because the parallel are off the charts and everything." Yeah.
Sovereign cosmic wild man.
Yeah.
He's on the money there. Sovereign cosmic wild man.
Yeah, he's a cool. I mean, I think it's. I'm not sure. He's a cool dude for sure. I've only met him a few times in here.
But that's a
Thank you for being
translation.
here.
Translation, right? That's a translation away from monster and a town monster or woods monster. The Sasquatch aren't monsters; they're humans. And
You know,
they're just like us in so many ways. And some of them, their holy men are truly holy men, and their shamans are true shamans, and their shamans taught the American Indian shamans. You can't have them on this planet for 30,000